Live from our studios at One Television Plaza, this is WTAP News at 6.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Phyllis Smith. 3 police officers were shot this afternoon in Lorain, Ohio. Lorain Mayor Jack Bradley says 2 officers are in critical condition and they were both flown by a medical helicopter to a Cleveland area hospital. The 3rd officer shot received non-life-threatening injuries and was also taken to the hospital. According to the mayor, the suspect is dead. Lorain Police Deputy Chief Michael Failing said there is only 1 suspect. The Elyria police are handling the investigation and the Ohio Bureau of Investigations is helping them. Turning to the weather, it's warm and humid. Meteorologist Jason Livia joins us now with a look at your first alert forecast. Jason.
Well, Phyllis, you're absolutely right. It is very warm and humid across the Mid-Ohio Valley today. We're in the upper 80s to low 90s. It feels around 92 this afternoon because of that humidity that has been slowly creeping up over the last 24 hours. Temperatures across the region mostly in the upper 80s at the moment, and this is about as warm as we're going to get throughout the day today. Throughout the evening, we'll stay with mostly clear skies. Temperatures will get down into the mid 70s. Our low for tonight, right around 71 degrees. It's going to feel mild and humid, and that humidity and heat is just going to continue throughout the next several days. Thursday and Friday are first alert weather days for heat index values close to triple digits, and I'll have more about that and what to expect this weekend in my full forecast later on. So for now, Phyllis, back to you.
Thank you, Jason. New tonight, a Parkersburg woman was sentenced to prison for a drug delivery that resulted in death. Ashley Louise Haynes was given 15 years in prison on August 18th, according to the Parkersburg Police Department. She has a 497-day credit from when she took a guilty plea. The investigation started in June 2023 when police officers found a woman dead in a house off 23rd Street. An autopsy confirmed she died from a drug overdose. Haynes was a suspect from the beginning and ultimately arrested and indicted. A Lowell man was sentenced on August 21st, according to the Parkersburg Police Department. Braden Taylor Rue was given 10 years in prison with a 419-day credit for use of minors and filming sexually explicit conduct. He took a guilty plea to count 6 and the rest of his counts were dismissed. The offense happened in June 2023 and the investigation began in December of 2023. A trial date has been set for a man indicted on murder, rape, kidnapping, and strangulation charges in Meigs County, Ohio. Samuel Hochschletter's pre-trial hearing has been set for October 22nd. The jury trial is set to begin on December 8th. He is accused of killing Rosanna Kingsinger. She was found dead at her home along Dye Road in Rutland back in March. The Mid-Ohio Valley Health Department is encouraging families to book appointments now for their children's back-to-school immunizations. Health Department Public Information Officer Amy Phelps says they offer all of the required vaccines for students in West Virginia, including the mumps, measles, and rubella vaccine and the diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis vaccine. Appointments with the Health Department can be scheduled at any of its offices in the 8 counties they serve, including Wood, Wirt, Calhoun, Pleasants, Ritchie, and Roane counties. Phelps says keeping school-aged kids' immunizations current is an important way to maintain their health, as well as the health of the whole community.
It's just to try to get, all of our bodies to, be as healthy as they can be and to learn how to adapt, and then you won't get as sick if you would happen to get sick with any of these diseases. And then a lot of them, are completely preventable with vaccines.
Vaccines in Wood County are being given at the Health Department's new office at St. Joseph's Landing. You can find more details about scheduling immunizations with the Health Department at WTAP.com. Tax-free weekend will be happening in a few weeks for all your back-to-school needs. The West Virginia State Tax-Free Holiday will be happening Friday, August 1st through Sunday, August 4th. During this weekend, shoppers can buy certain items without paying state or local sales tax. The local Consumer Credit Counseling Service in Parkersburg is available to help you prepare a budget plan so you can save money during tax-free weekend. This tax-free holiday does have certain limits that apply. The director of Consumer Credit says you cannot spend over $125 on a single item or you will still be charged taxes.
Hopefully, you're not spending more than that or having to spend more than that. But for example, if you're buying a pair of shoes for back to school, if it's more than $125, you will have to pay the full tax amount. So watch those limits, set the budget in advance, have that list, have that plan in advance so that you can save the most money.
You can call Consumer Credit Counseling Services at 304-485-3141 if you need help setting a budget for a tax-free weekend. That number is at the bottom of your screen. The Ohio River Valley chapter of the American Red Cross announced today that they got a new emergency response vehicle for volunteers to respond to disasters faster. Executive Director Sharon Kesselring said she hopes with this new vehicle it can bring in more volunteers to the chapter. Our Peyton Brooker has more on this story in Parkersburg.
The American Red Cross Ohio River Valley chapter announced it received a new emergency response vehicle. According to the Community Disaster Program Manager at the chapter, Todd Wines, this was a major need for their local chapter.
So to get the emergency response vehicle, it kind of started a year ago with Sharon Kesselring and noticed the need for us to get a vehicle here. We were really the only chapter location that didn't have one, so we were constantly borrowing from other areas. When we had the Wheeling floods here recently, we had vehicles that had to come up from the Charleston area, Morgantown. They had to come from further away to be able to get that help.
11-year volunteer Charles Clegg said this will help the chapter respond to emergencies faster.
I'm really excited because before, when we would need this kind of a vehicle, we would have to go all the way to Charleston. Hopefully, Charleston had one available. Now that we've got it, we can respond without the worry and the hassle of trying to track one down.
Kesselring says the ERV can serve the community in a variety of circumstances.
Its primary goals is to respond with feeding and distribution of emergency supplies in large-scale disasters. But also, we can take it in weather that may not be good for interviewing our clients after a single-family house fire even, and actually taking them inside and doing the casework inside, keeping them out of the elements.
With the Ohio River Valley chapter of the American Red Cross receiving this new disaster relief vehicle, Kesselring and the rest of the staff here say getting volunteers is encouraged as it becomes more accessible for people here in the Middle Ohio Valley to volunteer.
Disaster response is one part of what the American Red Cross does, but because the response vehicle is here, it'll put volunteering for the Red Cross in the forefront of people's minds. It's going to be parked right here on 8th Street, so as people come by and they look across, they can see, oh, that's that thing that provides assistance for people in trouble.
It is, you got to want to be out there because you're going to be out there at the worst moments of people's lives. So you have to have that compassion and willingness to go out there and support these folks with a hot meal or cleaning supplies to help get them on their road to recovery.
Some volunteers aren't able to do national response, and we totally understand that. But we need people to do the local response. So that's why it'll be so important that we recruit more volunteers and get them interested, and especially if they're able to take the specialized training. It doesn't take a special license, but it does take some training.
This is Peyton Brooker in Parkersburg. WTAP News. This is home.
Still ahead, a group of congressional Democratic dads are calling on President Donald Trump to remove tariffs on baby essentials.
A First Alert Weather Day is in store for
Legislation is making its way through Capitol Hill that would change some protections for endangered marine mammals. Alaska Congressman Nick Begich says his legislation would clarify language in the Marine Mammal Protection Act. American conservationist Jeff Corwin testified against the changes this week on Capitol Hill. He says the proposed changes could negatively impact fragile ecosystems for generations.
Because if we fail, our children and our grandchildren will ask us, where were you when the North Atlantic right whale went extinct?
The Endangered Animals Act and the Marine Mammals Preservation Act have been in effect for more than 50 years. Begich's proposed changes have not been approved yet. A group of congressional Democratic dads are calling on President Donald Trump to remove tariffs on baby essentials. Members of the Congressional Dads Caucus at a press conference today said raising a child is already expensive, and tariffs on items like strollers, cribs, and bassinets make it even harder.
This is not optional. These are not optional necessities. These are things that people actually need. And to suddenly increase the cost of these by 20 or 30% or more is simply unacceptable.
Figures say he's introducing legislation to end tariffs on those items. Several other Dads Caucus members say they're also filing bills to end tariffs on baby supplies parents rely on.
WTAP looks back on this day in history in today's We the People, celebrating 250 years.
On this day in history, back in 2021, Cleveland's Major League Baseball team announced it would change its name after more than 100 years. Cleveland would drop the name Indians and become the Guardians at the end of the 2021 season. The Guardians name comes from statues on the Hope Memorial Bridge in Cleveland called the Guardians of Traffic.